Hello, my wonderful friends. This is Emily from Salt City Knits. I'm super happy to have you with me. I've already recorded this podcast and it didn't actually record correctly. So I am starting over again and hoping and praying that it all works out this time. So if things are a little disjointed, just understand it's because the first half of my podcast, I'm re-recording. The second half, or at least the first part, I don't know that it's half. The first part, this is a second recording. The second part was already recorded. So hopefully the twain shall meet in a good way. So welcome back. I have been away a couple of weeks and it's not been because I haven't been busy. In fact, it's been because I've been very busy with work and heroic youth and life. But I'm back now. So first of all, you can find me on Ravelry as Salt City Knits. All my patterns are there. You can also find all my patterns and my yarn at yarnbrary.com. All my patterns and yarn are also available on Etsy. And you can find me on Instagram as Salt City Knits and Yarnbrary. And if any of that went too fast, it's all in the description box below with links. So thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to be talking, I won't be talking about any finished objects because I don't have any, but I will be talking about works in progress, some future projects I want to make, some chat about health and decluttering, probably a lengthier chat than you might expect, and some shop news. Very exciting shop news, really, really fun stuff coming up. So I'm really excited to share that with you. And also, I'm going to start out with a little bit of a life update. So we have completed our interview process for Heroic Youth, which is our youth organization that our family is involved in. My husband and I are the founders and still serve on the board and as mentors for youth. And it's a wonderful program and something that we love. So we ended up interviewing 150 young men. Is that right? That can't be right. 130? 125? Something like that. Young men, ages 12 through 18. Such good kids. Just wonderful kids. Kids who struggle, but kids who also are just so alert and engaged in life. And I feel like that is becoming a rarity sometimes. So they're just an absolute delight to work with. And it was really busy, but super successful. And yeah, it's been good. So we completed that. Also, we got our Easter boxes, our Holy Week yarn boxes shipped out. And I am so pleased with how they turned out. I absolutely loved putting these together. The opportunity to combine my faith and my love for crafting and yarn together into one thing was satisfying in a way that I don't think anything else has been. Just absolutely wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So for those of you who ordered those, I hope that you really, really enjoy them. I'm very, very pleased with how they turned out. I love the extras that are included. I love the yarn. I love the devotional materials. Really love those. And just, yeah, I'm just the pattern. I'm very pleased with how everything came together. So let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Those of you who have been, have watched my podcast for a while know that in December, my girls and I got together and did some Christmas crafts. So this year we decided to do some Easter crafts together, and we met up a couple weeks ago at my daughter's house and we did 2 crafts this time. We did pressed flower candles, and we also made empty tomb planters. And both of those were very enjoyable. For the pressed flowers candles, we just had dried pressed flowers and we had white pillar candles, and we just put the flowers on the candle and then painted over them with wax, with melted wax to hold them in place. All of us have mixed feelings about the results, but they were fun to make, and I still think they're beautiful. They're just maybe a little messier, little not as, not quite as appealing as we had hoped they would be, but we really enjoyed making them and had a lot of fun with them. And I actually feel like my girls' candles all turned out way better than mine, so I'm fine with that. But the planters, huge success. We did plant grass seed, wheatgrass seed specifically, but it hasn't sprouted at all on ours. My daughter Aria, her wheatgrass is like this tall. We used the same seed, the same soil. We've been watering it, but it's not drowned. So I'm not quite sure what's up with that, but that's okay. It's still beautiful even without it. So those were really fun things to do together. And oh, and here's a little video about those.
But then I can't keep them alive.
I have to come see yours, Shannon. Oh, I like.
That's why I already named her.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. How's yours coming?
Pretty good. I planted this on top of it.
I like it. Oh, your rock is a good size one. I'm gonna need to find a big one.
It's also a little bit more round too.
Yeah. How are you doing over there, Abby? Let me see what you've got going.
Gardening isn't my strong suit, guys.
You make a great dirt lady.
I am one with the dirt currently. This is broken.
Mine still is in process too.
Yours looks a lot better than this does.
Well, I'm just farther along than you are.
That's because I had to get the dirt for everybody.
Yes, you did.
You
All right, so this is how mine has turned out. There's wheatgrass planted up here and over here. And I think I'm gonna go home and make some little crosses to go up on top. It turned out really cute.
Let's
Show me yours, Aria. Pick it up and let's see it.
Here's mine. And I planted wheatgrass like basically everywhere. So
I love it.
We'll see what sprouts. But I liked how this kind of went over the top.
Yeah, if I were to do this again, I would definitely go with a smaller center pot. How about yours, Tannen? You want to show us?
Mine has wheatgrass
and
everywhere too, but I think if it doesn't grow quite well, I might try moss instead, because I think moss would be fun.
I think that would be really neat. And I love how you did the pot off to the side.
I like the off center a little bit.
It looks really good.
Thank you.
Very nice. You're not done yet?
No.
Well, show me what you got so far.
I was doing dirt the entire time.
I know.
So I'm just planting wheatgrass. I have to cover it up. So,
And this is the one that's going to be at our house, huh?
Yeah.
I like it. Very nice. And I like the dirt on your cheek. It's really cute.
I don't even know.
We also did these pressed flower candles. So these are Tannen's candles in her beautiful planter. And this is the one Abby did. This is going to be the one at our house probably. Those are my candles. Got some dirt on one. And Abby's candles, and then my planter. And then there is Aria's planter. Very nice. We also celebrated Abby's birthday. My youngest is 17 now, and my mind is just boggled. I cannot believe that she is that old. It just blows my mind that she's 17. Totally crazy. So she got together with friends and partied on her birthday, and then a couple days later, we celebrated as a family with her, and here's a cute picture of her with her birthday cake. She's such a delight, and yeah, she's going to be graduating from homeschool a year early here. So just a couple more weeks until that graduation, but that was really fun to celebrate with her. What else did I have? I mean, I think that's the major thing. Oh, one thing, and I actually forgot to talk about this in the original go through of this recording, but my friend Marilyn and I got to go to Hale Center Theater and see Little Women, the musical, and it was so beautiful. So here's Marilyn and I outside the theater, and I look like death warmed over. Marilyn looks darling, but we had a great time and the show was phenomenal. Hale Center Theater is a local theater company here. They do amazing shows. I mean, just gorgeous. This show I have never seen before. I am very familiar with the music. My girls and I love the music. I wanted to sing along with every song. You know, we're big fans. But this was the first time I got to see it. And both my girls have gone to see it with friends before. So I didn't think I was going to get to go, but it just worked out timing wise. A bunch of friends were together knitting on a Wednesday night, and a couple of our friends, the three of them, were all talking about how great the show was. And I was saying, oh, I really wished I would have gone. Marilyn said the same thing. And she's like, well, I would have gone with you. Because I was saying how my girls went with their friends. And so we just looked it up right then and figured out that the very next day there were actually tickets available. And it was like one of the only days I had available. So we just made it happen and we loved it. It was so great. So if you've never heard the music from Little Women, the musical, oh my goodness, you should look it up. It's so good. And they did a fantastic job with it. It was so enjoyable. So that was really, really awesome to do. But yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about right now. So let's dive in. Like I said, I don't have any finished objects. I'll talk a little bit. I'm trying to remember exactly what you're going to already see that I've already recorded that's coming up. I feel like this is a time warp thing. Like I'm talking about the future as the past. But anyway, just to give you a little heads up, I'm going to be talking quite a bit about decluttering and organizing my room. And part of the whole reason I bring that up is because I've been feeling kind of buried by my hand knits lately, and I don't like the feeling. It's stressing me out. And so I've kind of felt very uninspired about knitting lately because I need to organize my knits. I gotta stop playing with my pen. I need to organize the things that I have, that I've made for myself. And I need to get a grip on what I actually want to add in to my wardrobe. And actually I'm kind of in an in-between place, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. But that's part of why I kind of don't have any finished, well, I don't know. It's kind of why I don't have anything on the needles for myself right now, which is really okay. I'm really fine with working on other projects. But the things that I have finished in the last few weeks have been Easter boxes, pattern designs, as in the patterns themselves, the written patterns, finishing up the Holy Week boxes, all those interviews for Heroic Youth, which I probably have already repeated myself. So I've been very busy, but let's talk about the whips instead. So first off, where did I put, I've moved things now. Hold on. Scooch my basket over here. My whip basket. Let's talk first of all about, here we go, about my secret swap project. So our secret swap in our knitting group, just the briefest of recaps, is that every spring we exchange these little secret bags of yarn. So everybody brings one that wants to participate, brings one skein of yarn from their own stash that they would like to have something made out of. And then we all kind of trade them around and we end up with one of those bags. And so I have chosen a bag from a friend of mine who doesn't know that I have her. And I will be knitting something for this friend using the yarn that she put in the bag. So it's really fun because the longer we're in a knitting group together, the more and more we know each other, and we start to get a feel for each other's style and likes and dislikes, because we see what each other's knitting every month. You know, we all show our projects for a month and say, this is what I'm working on. And you start to see trends and things like that. In addition, I can go and look through Ravelry, depending on who it is, how active on Ravelry they are, or Instagram. You know, you can go and look and see things that they've been inspired by. So this particular friend, I have her yarn, and then we are supposed to use as much of that yarn as we can. We can add yarn to it, but we shouldn't really just use only a little bit of it. We want to use that yarn should be kind of the star of the show. So I very quickly zeroed in on the project that I wanted to make for this person, and I added some yarn from my stash in with the yarn that was provided. And I cast on a project like within a day or two of swapping. And I have almost completed that project, but I've run into some questions that are making me unsure what direction I want to go. So I'm at a bind off, and I'm doing the bind off that the pattern recommends, and I'm just not loving the way that it's looking. So I'm about halfway through it, and it's a rather time consuming bind off and not really loving how it looks. So I'm kind of trying to decide, am I going to just continue and do the rest of the bind off and then block it and then see how I like it at that point? Or am I going to just preemptively pull it back and do a different bind off? In addition to that, here I am almost finished with this project, and what I thought based on the pattern information was going to use up all of the yarn, or very close to it, that was provided. It's used less than 50% of that yarn. So it's kind of taking the wind out of my sails a little bit with the project, and I just need to reevaluate. So I have oodles of time. We exchanged these back in October. So I got plenty of time. I'm putting it to the side for right now. I can't show it to you for obvious reasons. People watch this podcast that are also in my knitting group. And so it's just to the side for the time being. Meanwhile, I'm working on some other things. So this is another project that I can't actually, I've got my ball winder like right here and my yarn swift over here. So I keep bumping these two things because I'm, a hand talker. So this is not something I can show you the project as well, but I can show you the yarn for this. So in my Holy Week box, I have a new sock design. And because that box is mini skeins, the design sample that I made for the photos and everything was made with mini skeins. But I wanted to have a sample that was just made with a regular sock set. So I pulled this sock set out of my stash. And this is a set that I dyed in December of 2023, which was before I reopened the Yarnbrary. And I designed it as Christmas gifts for my knitting group. And it is called When My Heart Finds Christmas. So we all had matching skeins. And I know some people have used theirs and some people still have theirs. I think it's beautiful. That song is one of my favorite Christmas songs. It's by Harry Connick Jr. And I just think it's so romantic. It's just got a romantic feel to it. So anyway, this is the sock set that I am using to knit a second sample of this design. And I can't show it to you yet because it is exclusive to that Holy Week box for the time being, but it will be coming out in the end of April. So the pattern is already finished. I'm just knitting another sample to add additional photos to, and so that will be coming out then. All right. What I can show you is another pair of socks for my son-in-law, Michael. So I'm going to record about this. I know somewhere in here is where things join up. So I'm going to keep talking and hopefully join these two pieces together. Michael is very knit-worthy. He loves the hand knit socks that I have made him. And so I decided to make him a few pair this year. And this is the first sock. It is knit out of Mayflower yarn, Mayflower sock yarn. Let's see. And it's in the Jupiter colorway. Here, let's see, that's very reflective. And I think it's really nice. It feels very much like a Regia or an Opal yarn. It's got kind of that rustic, slightly rough, but also, I guess, slightly woolly. Woolly is a good way to say it. It's got kind of a woolly, rustic feel, but nice and robust and hopefully very hard wearing. I like how the stripes are looking. It's just a self-patterning yarn. And these were 50-gram balls, so I had 2 50-gram balls. His socks that I make are large, fairly large socks. I'm going to measure this remnant to see how much I had left over from, this is what I have left over from the first, let's get that. And it's 11 ounces. So, sorry, 11 grams, not ounces, grams. So I used 39 grams. I could have made them a little bit longer in the leg, but he'll like it still. So that is the first one. Kind of some light gray, light blue, medium gray, and then like a dark charcoal, almost black color with little bits of speckling here and there. And this is where I am on the second one. This is a cute Disneyland charm. I can't remember if I got this from my sister Deborah or from my friend Kimmy. It was one of them. I think it might have come on a charm bracelet. It's really fun. Anyway, so that's where I am on the second one. And for his socks, I do a 72 stitch circumference. I knit all my socks magic loop, and I use ChowGoo 2.25 millimeter needles. And I like the 40-inch cable. I know a lot of people prefer a 32-inch. I'm a big fan of the 40-inch. Especially because of the way I knit my gusset decreases. When I'm working on my gusset decreases, I kind of have, instead of having, the 2 spots or the 2 loops, when you're working a magic loop, you have 2. When I work my gusset decreases, I pull up a 3rd loop. So I have 1 loop at the bottom of the heel, 1 at the, one at either end of the front stitches. So like you'll have bottom of the heel and then all your gusset, then front stitches, there's another one, and then all your gusset and back to bottom of the heel. So it ends up like in a triangle. And so I like to have a longer cable. I knit 25 rounds of 2x2 rib. I think 85 rounds for the leg. Then I did heel flap and gusset. My hair is picked up on that. And once I finish the gusset decreases, so at this point where they ended, then I start and I knit 70 rounds, and then I work my toe, which is just a rounded wedge toe. And those fit him very well, which is good. I've made him a pair before that were self-striping, and then I did an afterthought heel, and they worked okay. But he definitely prefers the gusset. And so I'm fine with that. That's my favorite one to knit anyway. It's one of those things where I don't even think about it. Like I've knit so many pairs of socks that it's practically muscle. I mean, it really is just muscle memory. I just do it. I don't even have to think about it. These have been, for some reason, extra enjoyable to work on. I just want to knit them. I'm not typically somebody who is really drawn to a lot of stockinette. I tend to like a little more interest in my patterns. I mean, I'm happy to knit stockinette, but I tend to reach more for the projects that have a little bit more interest. But I think that I've just been a little too frazzled or something, that the stockinette project is just, it's just really scratching that itch of that knitting itch that I've been needing. So I've been really enjoying that. All right. The only other thing that I have been working on has been my granny stripe blanket, and I have done quite a bit on this. Now I went back to review the last few episodes because I thought I had shared this recently, and either I was going through them too quickly or my brain just was filling in holes that didn't exist, but I am not finding when I showed it last. I don't remember exactly where I was the last time I showed it. However, I think that I was down here somewhere. So I think that I've put this much into the blanket since I showed it. I'm going to show you the end so you can kind of see how far I've come with it. So it's getting quite large now. I started here and I've gone to here. And I definitely added in some more vibrant colors than I originally planned on adding. I thought in my head that I had enough pastels that were in this tone, but were different enough colors to make a scrappy blanket work. But what I found is that while I do have a lot of pastel scraps, they're all quite small. And this is a fairly wide, I mean, you know, you can't even see it all, wide blanket. So those little tiny scraps, the ones that are, you know, this big, they're not getting me, you know, they're getting me a part of a row. They're not even getting me half of a row. And so when I have a lot of colors that are, you know, little bits like that, I'm just not, and the other part of it is I have so many pinks and peaches. So this one is wound really loosely, but is similar in weight to these. Here's another one that's a little bit bigger scrap. But if you're seeing what I'm seeing, they're all, I mean, that one's not, but this one's kind of more yellow, but there's so many in this same, this is a tiny little scrap. I just have a lot that are in the same kind of color family. That one's a little different. So what I've been doing is just deciding it's okay for me to expand my color palette a little bit and add some brighter ones. The other thing is I tend to try and group like colors. So for this section here, I actually have, for this kind of turquoisey, it's like a 2-row stripe. I think it might be 3 once you get down, yeah, to this end. I have 4 different scraps making up that turquoise stripe. And with this section, this was actually 2 different remnants. I don't even know what I knit with this originally. I know it's a Candy Shop Yarns color. I think it was maybe Carousel. I could be wrong about that. I feel like it was one of her Fairground colors, but I'm not quite sure about that. But anyway, I had 2 different remnants of that from 2 different, I don't even know how I had 2 different remnants. Like, did I make a pair of socks? And I split the ball into 2 different sections, but one was a bit bigger and the other one was like teeny. These are remnants that have been in my stash for quite some time. So while I remember, I mean, I recognized it very clearly as a Candy Shop Yarns. And then I've got some more Candy Shop Yarns here, cream soda. Love that one. Anyway, I've just decided to expand my color palette. I'm using the tutorial by Attic 24 about granny stripe blankets. And I don't even remember how many I initially chained. But I do know that I've been working on this one for well over a year. And this is my 4th granny stripe blanket. The first one I made was all scrappy and very bright. It's been in my family room for a few years now. We use it like it's like a TV watching blanket. The second one I made using Lay Family Yarns rainbow palettes, their palette packs that they did. What was that, 2021 or something? And I did the January through September. So I ended it once she finished with the purples. The third one, I just made a baby size blanket and it was scrappy. And then this is my 4th one. So it's always something that I really enjoy coming back to. They're just so satisfying. And once you kind of get in the rhythm of making it, I just always want to keep working on it. Then eventually I'll put it down to focus on other projects and then it will hibernate for a while. And that's totally okay because the way I figure a scrappy blanket project is meant to be a long-term project. And so I'm just really enjoying this one though. Now that I have showed it to you, I'm going to make sure to move my little progress keeper up so that next time I won't have the same question of where was I when I showed it to you last. So I've moved my progress keeper up to the top. Oh, here we go. Pretty mother of pearl. And now I will remember for the next time. I've got all my little bits in this Black Pearl Magic bag, but I've got larger, I don't think there's any that are over 50 grams, but kind of larger partial skeins in the bottom of this basket. So this is my basket and it's so pretty with the blanket folded on top of it that I'm like, it's home decor as it is. So it's great. I leave it out. So those are all my works in progress right now. And I've been trying to figure out what it is that I want to make next, what I want to knit. I have a few designs that I want to work on. I have a design that I'm going to be probably collaborating with Candy Shop Yarns again. I have designs coming up for some boxes that I'm going to tell you about at the end, like when we talk about shop news, that I need to work on. I need to finalize my rainbow stripes socks, which so many of you have been so patient about. That pattern just needs some attention. It's not going to take any time at all to finally get it put together and released. It's just getting the time to work on it. Once I can work on it, it'll be a day and it will be ready to go because it's been through all the processes. It's up to the point where that's all it's going to take to finish it off. And so I have that, but I've been feeling kind of lost with my knitting lately. And I think this is the big reason. I have so many things that I have made for myself. And all of a sudden, like all at once, I feel topped up. Like I don't need anything else for me. I don't need any socks. I don't need hats. I don't need scarves. I don't need cowls. I don't need shawls. I don't need cardigans. I don't like to wear pullovers. I think they're gorgeous, but I don't like them on me. And so I don't knit them. And all of a sudden I feel like everywhere I look in my room, which I'll tell you, this is the big part of my life that's stressing me out, is my bedroom. I need to clean it and I need to de-junk and I need to organize. But with that happening, I feel like there are piles of hand knit items throughout my room. And I don't like that feeling. I am not a person who likes to feel like I'm drowning in my belongings. I don't want that. I don't have a huge yarn stash, especially compared to so many people that I see online. And I'm not making a judgment about what they have versus what I have, because they're living the life that they are choosing. And that is totally great. And if you have a huge yarn stash, there is zero judgment coming from me. Not at all. I mean, I'm a yarn seller, for heaven's sakes. Like, zero judgment coming from me. But when I start to feel like I have too many belongings, it makes me feel kind of panicky. And it doesn't mean that I'm a minimalist either. I mean, I'm very much like, if you looked in my house, I like knickknacks and tchotchkes and things like that. It's just, I want to feel like the things that I have, I use and I appreciate and I wear and I enjoy. And instead, I kind of feel like right now, I don't even want to wear. I mean, part of it is the weather change, but like, I don't even want to wear the things that I've already made. I think I'm just feeling kind of about a lot of things. And I think we all go through these cycles. I know I've been through them before. And who knows, next time I come on and record, I'll be like, oh, I've cast on 5 new sweaters. Who knows? I might do that. And I'll be totally happy and perfectly fine with it. But right now, nothing sounds great. So the great thing is that I want to still knit, I want to still make, and I want to be excited about the things I'm making. So I want to knit and make gifts. Now, the next project I knit is probably going to be for Abby, for my daughter. And I'm thinking I want to make her a summer tee or tank. And so she and I have looked at a few patterns, and we haven't decided on one yet, but I think that's the next project that I'm going to cast on, as far as not design work, but just general knitting because I want to knit kind of a thing. And the other project that I'm going to make is a sewn object. And so I want to show you some fabric. So, I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, have already seen the gorgeous designs from Minky Kim. She designs beautiful patchwork bags. And she has a pattern that is, I believe it's called the Weekend Sling Bag. I'll post a picture of it. And it's just so cute. It's got this flying geese patchwork on the front of the bag, and it's just absolutely darling. So I bought the pattern and I bought the hardware kit from her, and then I've been picking out fabrics. And so the main fabric I have chosen is this one. This will be for the body of the front of the bag. And then this green is going to be for the back of the bag and the lining. So anywhere in the picture that shows coral, this is going to be my fabric. I also picked up, and let me see if I can see the selvage and tell you what this fabric line is. This is a Riley Blake, and it is the Melody line. And this one is, let's see, Melody line by Beverly McCullough of Flamingo Toes. So this green, that's this green. I think this one is also that same line. Nope, I lied. This is New Beginnings by Sandy Gervais. It's also a Riley Blake. And this one is, like I said, the Melody. Let's see. I found a couple of fat quarters that I fell in love with as well that I may or may not use for this project. So I've got, I think this one is going to go with this project, but we'll double check. So I've got this one. I've got this one. I love this chartreuse one so much. And I've got this navy and teal one. So I'm going to just play with these and also pull out scraps that I have. that I have in my fabric stash for the flying geese, and just pick out which ones I like the most. But these two are going to be my main two fabrics. And it's funny that they're not in the same line. They were literally displayed right next to each other in the quilt store. And I fell in love with them together. And I really thought they were in the same line. I didn't double check because it doesn't really matter in the end of it. It just matters if I like them. But I do. I like those together. So, especially because like this one, you're really only going to see on the back and in the lining. So it's not going to always be right next to this, but I really just love this kind of low volume floral print for the main color. So I had to order some foam stabilizer, and I told you I got the hardware kit, and I should have everything else I need, interfacing and thread and batting, cotton batting. But I'm really excited to make that. So this project is coming up soon because that was going to be my reward to myself for finishing up the Holy Week boxes. And I'm really looking forward to making it. I don't think I'll get started today, but in the next day or two I will. And I'm really looking forward to it. So that is a project that I'm going to make it, and I may keep it, but it might go into my gift knits. Not knits. My gift box. Things that I have for gifts. I also realize I have things that I have stashed away for gifts that I haven't given. Things that I've made that are in that, and they're just sitting. And I'm like, I forget to look through it. What is the point of having a gift box if you don't look through it when you need a gift? Like, what is the point? I will often just go, oh, I need a gift for this person, and then make or get a new gift for them instead of first going to my gift box. I realize my Swift is sticking out right here. Anyway, so those are two of my upcoming projects. I still, like I said, don't know which vest or tee I'm going to make, but it's going to come up. So, okay, let's go back to talking about the decluttering in my room. My room is not one that it's kind of messy, but it doesn't immediately look horrendous. I don't have piles of stuff all over the floor, but I do have piles like in all the corners, and like surfaces have stacks and piles. And the dust, oh my gosh. I don't know about you, but I struggle with dust so much. We live in a desert. I live in Utah. It is a desert here. It's very arid and it's windy. And there's fields, like big fields up at the top of my street. We live at the bottom of a hill. And at the top of the hill, there are all these fields. And I feel like there's just dust and dust and dust all the time that I'm dealing with. And it just, like, how do you stay on top of the dust? I mean, I've got all the filters and all the things that you would think would help to stay on top of the dust, but I'm struggling with that. And my room is one of those places. And honestly, your room is the last place you want dust to build up. You sleep in there. And it's not, I don't know, I'm probably making it sound worse than it is. But for me, I'm not feeling happy in that bedroom at all right now. And a part of that has just been when we get really busy, we tend to kind of Richard and I ignore our bedroom. We do the chores in the rest of the house in our bedroom. We can just like close the door when guests come over or whatever, right? So life is going to get busier. Soon we have so much heroic youth stuff coming up. And so I'm like, okay, this is our week. We're going to work on our room. I'll be honest, I am not somebody who's going to ever enjoy filming videos of me cleaning. It's just not my thing. I get too much in project mode. I could not be bothered to try and film that. So for anybody who was like, oh, I'd love to see befores and afters, I might take before and after photos if I remember, but I'm for sure not filming any of it. But I definitely need to sort through shoes and clothes and hand knit objects, shawls and sweaters and socks, specifically those three. I need to organize my office corner of my room. I need to just de-dustify everything. And I want to take all the curtains down and wash them and rehang them. And, just generally get on top of the piles. And I am not as big of a pile maker as my husband is. He's a much bigger pile maker because he just gets too bogged down in details. And it's like, oh, I have to sit and figure out this one piece of paper. What do I do with it? What do I do with it? And a half an hour later, he's like, pile. Like, it's just too much. And so his piles are even more out of control than my piles are. It's just the life, there's so many micro decisions you have to make through your day that can be really overwhelming. And sometimes the paperwork gets overwhelming. And here's a dumb thing. I bought a big family photo. Like, we had our family photos done, and I bought a big canvas print of it, is I guess what I want to say. And it was supposed to go over my mantle in my family room. And when I got it, I thought that I bought the same size as the one I had had before. And yet it was actually way too big. It doesn't fit because I have this little jog in my ceiling. And so that photo doesn't fit there. So where has this giant photo been, this giant canvas been? It's been in my bedroom in front of my shoe rack. So where are all my shoes? My shoes are in piles. Do you relate to this at all? Maybe you are somebody who just has the perfectly organized room and you are a minimalist and you stay on top of everything. I hope that for you. I hope that for you, you don't have to deal with this. But I'm guessing that there's lots of you who are like me, where things just pile up. So my goal for the week is to get, even if it's not perfect, to just make major progress and make our room a much more enjoyable place to be. So that's one thing. But in addition to that, I feel like this is being spurred on, and my desire to make my room better is part of something else that's been going quietly inside of me that I haven't shared, which is a desire to be healthier in general. In 2023, I worked really hard and I lost 45 pounds and I was feeling a lot better. And at the end of 2023, Richard lost his job and life got super hectic. And I totally let go of taking care of myself during that time. And for the past year plus, I have just been in this just work, just go and ignore the things that I need to do to take care of myself. Nobody else is making me do that. That was just me doing that, just to be clear. Part of it is it's hard when you are broke to spend the money. And it's not just about the food that I eat, but also things like staying up on doctor's appointments that I needed to do and things like that. So with Richard back to work and the Yarnbrary being, nice and steady right now, which I'm so grateful for. I cannot even tell you how grateful I am. Those things are making it that I'm like, it's time. It's definitely time. And I haven't really talked about it to many people at all. I finally told Richard, just, by the way, I'm working on this. It's like a vulnerable thing to say, but I started just over a week ago really working on my exercise and my nutrition goals. And it's one of those things where at the beginning of the week, I was just praying. I'm like, Heavenly Father, I need your help because I don't want to do this. I know I need to. I know I'll feel better. I know I'll be happier once I'm rolling into it, but I don't want to. I don't want to. But I want to. I have a desire to have the desire for it. And so I just prayed for help. And then that day, literally that same day that I had prayed and asked for help, I had a 3-hour phone call with a good friend of mine who she didn't know that I had this in my heart. And she reached out to me and just said, I wanted to tell you what I've been doing and some of the things that have been really helping her. And it wasn't that the conversation that I had with her, like I went, oh, what you're doing is exactly what I need to do. That wasn't the answer that I got from that. But the answer that I got from that was, first of all, God hears me and he's answering a prayer with this out of the blue phone call with somebody that I haven't talked to on the phone for months. And 3 hours later, I felt more inspired and more ready to take it on. And then I just kept working on it despite doing things imperfectly throughout last week. And despite kind of having a bad attitude, I was kind of doing it like grudgingly. But as the week went on, I felt my heart start to change. And now I don't just have a desire for a desire, I have the actual desire. And the amazing thing is, in 1 week, I lost 4 pounds. So this isn't all about weight loss, because weight loss is not the goal for everybody, right? For me, it's part of the goal. The main goal is I just want to feel healthier. I want to feel stronger. I want to have more stamina. I want to take pressure off my knees. I want to be more comfortable and in less pain. And when I say more comfortable, I mean just like in my body, like when I'm sitting down, I feel comfortable sitting down. Not, I don't want that comfort level is not determined by somebody else's opinion of me, is what I'm trying to say. But that weight is a big part of that for me. And it was really amazing to me to see how even when I'm doing something very imperfectly, but I'm including God in it, like somehow my very imperfect efforts still show results. And they don't always. Sometimes you work really hard and you can't physically with your eyes see those results, but they're still happening, right? So this is just me saying I'm on a journey. It's a continuing journey. It's painful because all the progress I made in 2023, as far as the physical, like weight loss progress, was all wiped out by 2024. Just went right back up to where I was before. Luckily, not more. But I'm working on it again. It's all part of the same journey. That's still the same journey I'm on. So I'm excited. I feel good about that. And I feel like that change of trying to take better care of myself, which also includes doing those doctor's appointments that I really don't want to do, but doing them, getting tests done that I really don't want to do, but I'm doing them. It's taking care of myself in more ways than just trying to have a victory on a scale, but instead trying to take care of the whole me. And that includes cleaning my bedroom. So that was kind of a big ramble. And I'm trying to help express why in my head this has to do with knitting. Because it does. Part of that is I can't sit for hours on end. I have to get up and move. It just is not good for me to sit for hours and hours on end, which when I am knitting, I can. I just get locked in. I'm doing what I'm doing. And 4 or 5 hours, I mean, not usually all in one stretch, but they can go by and I could just be there on the same thing because I have this hyper-focused brain. So I need to figure out some tools on, like mental tools on ways that I'm going to improve on that. I don't have to be perfect, but just take a step in the right direction. And also it comes into that whole thing about, I don't want to feel buried in my hand knits. So I want to be a little more purposeful about the things that I make, and make more gifts. I think it's also why I'm not making any more sweaters for myself right now, is because I do want to hopefully, I have lots of cardigans, so I'm not lacking in any kind of sweaters that I would wear right now. I'm not missing out. And I don't want to cast on anything new until I can cast on some smaller sizes. Does that make sense? normally I counsel against that kind of an attitude, like knit for you now. But if you're in the process, the immediate process of change at that time, I think that there's a difference there. Anyway, it's a big, long ramble. Let's move on. Let's talk about shop news. Okay. First off, today I am releasing Strawberry Bay. The Strawberry Bay shawl is complete. We got some beautiful photos. My sister Deborah is my model here, and she's gorgeous. And so here are some of the photos for Strawberry Bay. It is now available on Ravelry and on my website, which is yarnbrary.com. You can also find it on Etsy under Yarnbrary. And this uses 2 skeins of yarn. So it uses 100 grams of fingering weight yarn and 50 grams of mohair. And the sample that I made is made with 100 grams of a boucle fingering weight yarn. This is Candy Shop Yarn's truffle base. And I think it is in the Dream House colorway. And then the mohair is her cotton candy mohair. It's the same base as my fantasy mohair. It's a kid silk blend lace weight, and you use one of each of those. So 1 skein of each color. You can definitely use a regular fingering weight yarn, but I really love the texture of the boucle yarn. One of my test knitters used a fingering weight tweed yarn instead of the boucle yarn. That also was really pretty. And then I have another tester who used just a fingering weight, 100%. I think she used 100% merino fingering weight. So whichever one you would like to do, but you definitely want a fingering weight yarn and a mohair for that. You could probably use a suri, but I feel like the lace shows up so beautifully with the mohair. It's just so pretty. So that is available now. Next, I have 2 new sock sets that I want to show you. And actually, where did I put those? I'm blind. Oh, here they are. Actually, these are both classic Yarnbrary colorways, but they've been reimagined as sock sets. So they are ones that were just standalone colors. The first one is my very first, well, no, I lied. It's my 3rd. That's right. It is my 3rd colorway that I ever released. It was from my Yarnbrary. That's me. You guys. From my Jane Eyre collection. And it's Opera Dancer's Daughter. But now I have added a mini skein to have this beautiful sock set. If you are a Jane Eyre fan or have read the books or watched like any of the mini series or the movie, Opera Dancer's Daughter refers to Adele, who is Mr. Rochester's ward. And she was an opera dancer's daughter. So this is on my biography sock, and I just love it. It's such a delicate, lovely color. This mauve. Do you say mauve or mauve? I would love to hear. I've always said mauve, but I've heard it mauve more recently. So is it mauve to you or is it mauve? Comment below and let me know. I'm just curious. Here you go. The next one is Don't Bother Me, I'm Reading. And this color is so fun. I've knit an entire cardigan out of this on a worsted weight, but it's the silvery gray with neon speckles. All of these speckles, I think almost all of them anyway, are like light reactive, so they would show up under a black light. Not that that's necessarily the immediate need that you have when you pick out socks, but still, It's a really fun colorway. This one's also available on my biography sock. So these two are now in the shop, and those are way fun. All right. The next thing is I have 2 different seasonal boxes. So let's just recap. We just did Holy Week, which is an Easter box, and it is based on mini skeins. So that one just went out. That was kind of my spring box. So my summer box is coming up, and this one is a summer sock set box. So it will have 4 sock sets. They will not be a wrap at this certain time kind of countdown box. It's just going to be, you get 4 sock sets. And it will come with the sock sets. It will come with some fun extras that you will get surprised with. And it will also come with any of my already released sock patterns that you would like. So you'll get a coupon code so you can download that. And the idea is this is a great way for you to participate in summer sock camp if you're doing that, or just work on socks through the summer. And the theme for this is called Founding Mothers. And the 4 sock sets will be based on or inspired by Martha Washington, Abigail Adams, Dolly Madison, and Betsy Ross. And you will also get a little bit of information, kind of a card that will talk about some inspiring things about each of these women, and some inspiring quotes and so on that will come with that. So to recap, 4 sock sets. They will all be Americana themed, but they will be a weathered Americana, weathered kind of red, white, and blue inspired theme, not like a Crayola colors, royal blue, crimson kind of thing. 4 sock sets, a coupon code for a free pattern, extras, and study materials. Very easy study materials about these 4 founding mothers. And those boxes are listed in my shop right now. I do believe I only have 8 of those maybe left. If they go quickly, I will consider opening up some more spots, but I want to, keep things in a doable range for me. Those are shipping out by May 24th, so that you should have them pretty close to Memorial Day, so you can have them through the summer, and those are going to US shipping only. But yes, those are listed in my shop on my website, yarnbrary.com. There's also a link in the description box below this video. In addition to that, I have just barely announced and released the listings for my this year's Christmas countdown box. Last year, I did Christmas at Orchard House, which was inspired by Little Women, and it had a sock set based on each of the 4 March girls, and came with a exclusive pattern, as well as some other activities and fun things that went with it. This sock set box will be designed again to have 4 sock sets in it, 1 to open each of the Sundays in December leading up to Christmas. And it will have the sock pattern. It will have extras, and I feel like I'm missing something. Pattern, yarn, extras. Yeah. And the theme for this, which I'm so excited about, is It's a Wonderful Life. Now, I don't know about you, but for our family, this is, I can't say it's the favorite Christmas movie in our family. It's one of 2 favorite Christmas movies, because one is Scrooge, as in the musical with Albert Finney, that one. And then It's a Wonderful Life is the other one. And we always save this movie to watch on Christmas Day as a family. And we love the black and white version. And it's just so good. So this will be inspired by people and or famous scenes or statements, sayings, lines, those favorite moments, we'll say, in It's a Wonderful Life. And I'm so excited about it. It's going to be so great. It's going to be really fun. So if you enjoyed last year's countdown box, or you felt like you were missing out, you're definitely going to like this one. It's going to have a similar feel in many ways, but also be completely unique. So I'm really excited about it. Now, those Christmas boxes are not listed on my website because of the fact that that we do pre-orders so much earlier for Christmas boxes. I can't list them through my website. So if you are interested in ordering one of those, you will need to look at the link in the description box below and follow that, and it will take you to a form that you fill out. Then I send you an invoice, or you can send me a direct message like on Instagram at my Yarnbrary Instagram, or you can even email me at yarnbrary@gmail.com. Any one of those ways, I will get you the link. Probably the easiest is just go to the description box. But like if you're watching this podcast on your TV and it's hard for you to get there, I totally get it. So just send me a direct message on Instagram or send me an email and I will get you the information on how to order those. I did announce this on Instagram just a few days ago, and I've sold about a quarter of them in the last 2 days. So I don't think they're going to sell out in 10 minutes, but they're not going to stick around forever. So if you're interested, come and join me. I will most likely be doing a fall box as well, but it will be a mini skein box again. Kind of the idea being we'll do sock set boxes in summer and winter and minis in spring and fall. And, I'm not sure exactly how I want that one, like what exactly I want the inspiration for that one to be. So I'll keep you posted. I think that is everything I have to share. So thanks if you stuck with me through all of this and you listened to all of my rambling and waffling about my health and my room and trying to figure out what I want to do with my making. Thanks for sticking with me. It's a time, I feel like I'm in a time of transition. I felt that way for a few months, but I guess that's the whole point of transitions. They take time and you don't know exactly when they begin and exactly when they end. You just kind of look back at one point and go, oh, I got through that, right? So I'm kind of totally okay with being in it for right now. I'm really okay for just being in the process and not being impatient to get to the destination so fast. It's okay. I think that's one of the nice things about getting a little older. We tend to get a little more patient. I hope I'm getting more patient. I'm impatiently waiting to find out if that's true or not. That's enough from me. I hope you have such a wonderful week and that you have so much fun with all of your making. I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.